Hey guys, what is up? John here from FlyMikeAlpha.com, and today, super excited because I'm sitting in a brand new Bearhawk. It's not really that brand new, but it's new to me. It's not really mine even, but it's a brand new airplane that I haven't flown before, and I get to go fly it for the next month and bring this thing to High Sierra and fly all over out west. So I'm super excited for that. But I thought this was a good opportunity for me to kind of talk to you guys about what I do to get used to a new airplane, especially when I haven't flown before, especially one I have no paperwork on, no checklist for, no anything really. I don't really know any of the speeds in here or anything like that. So how do I go about figuring out how to fly this brand new airplane? I don't really have anyone to show me the ropes on it either. So aside from, a few things you hear through the grapevine, you talk to some guys that have other Bearhawks, you go online, you look at forums, how do you actually figure out how to fly an airplane that you have never flown before? So this is not really instructional at all, but this is just taking you guys along for the ride as I go put this airplane through its paces, and I kind of learn how to fly this thing, what it likes, what it doesn't like, what all the warning signs are, and how do I determine what speeds to use, what approach attitude to use, what kind of flows to use, and all that. So let's get to it. So of course, the first thing we got to do before we can really do any air work and get a feel for this airplane is we got to get off the ground. So, well, for starters, a normal run-up, I don't know, I'd say, looking at all the gauges, everything looks pretty good to me. We can probably go ahead and set our mixture to rich, throttle up here to about 1700 RPM is a pretty safe bet. We'll do a little magneto check here, pin in the tail back, facing the airplane into the wind. Do a quick little mag check there. That looks pretty good to me. We'll go ahead and, since our oil is warm, we'll go ahead and cycle our prop. We'll do that 3 times. I'm looking for a drop in RPM, a rise in manifold pressure, a drop in oil pressure, and then I'm looking for any oil on the windscreen in case anything was leaking. All that checks out. 3 times, all good. We'll set our altimeter here to field elevation so we don't have an AWOS. Looking at our CHTs, they're over 250, about 270 on the coldest one. That's pretty good to me. We got a warmed up engine. It's going to make good power for us. And now trim, we do have our trim set as neutral as possible, so we're not going to get any surprises there. This is a tailwheel airplane, so my plan is to kind of fly it off in a relatively tail low-ish attitude. Some airplanes, they have a ton of left turning tendencies when you raise the tail initially. Big old heavy prop up there. I'm not really sure what I'm going to get out of the thing. So also, I'm not really sure what to use for flaps, but 10's a safe bet. You can't really go wrong there, right? At least in my opinion. Again, this isn't really instructional in any way, but this is just how I'm getting used to a new airplane and some guesses I'm making, and we'll see how it works out. Everything else looks pretty set across the board. Fuel boost pump sounds like a good idea to use on takeoff, just in case. And we'll have our mixture set rich before we do go take off. And that's about it. Normal flight control check we've already completed. All looks good there. Our trim was verified set. Everything's looking good there. We stir the pot around, make sure nothing is binding on our flight controls. Checking the full range of motion, not just forward and then side to side. We're stirring the whole pot, checking the whole thing there. And yeah, 10 flap. Seatbelts are tight. Everything looks pretty good. We've done all our due diligence we could have on Google before getting in here, and now it's time to set this mixture full rich. We'll do one last little run through here to make sure we're not missing anything. I use M&P pistols, great firearm manufacturer. And so in this airplane, we're going to do 3 M's and 3 P's. It's going to be mixture, mags, prop, pressure, and pitch. Pitch is our trim. So our trim is set, our prop is full forward, our oil pressure is good, our magnetos are on both, our mixture is set full rich. And we're going to go ahead and kick that boost pump on at this time. The master is, of course, on. Because you guys can hear me talking to you, we'll make a little departure call. Geauga County traffic. Red Bearhawk departing runway 11, Geauga County. All right, so we'll get out here, take our time. We're not in a rush. If you want to get more of a feel for the airplane, taxiing it around for a little while could be a good idea. Maybe doing a high-speed taxi run down the runway at 10 miles an hour, 15, then 20 could be a good bet. I'm feeling pretty good with the way this thing handles. It seems fairly familiar to me. Got a little bit of right cross from there, so I'll start with the stick a little to the right. And we'll just go ahead and slowly ease in power here. Feet are off the brakes. They're ready to slide up to the brakes if we need them, if I start losing directional control, since this is a tailwheel airplane. Slowly easing in power. Little left rudder, little right rudder. Got a good response there. I'm feeling pretty confident. Stick's neutral. Going to go ahead and ease in all the way to full. And tail's coming up. There we are. Going to go ahead and ease her back, get her off the ground. She'll fly like a normal airplane. Woohoo! That's awesome. Wow. All right, we're climbing out 90 miles an hour. We're doing about 1,500 feet a minute. Yeah, this is sweet. This is really sweet. We got full tanks. We're doing about 1800 feet a minute now. Probably go ahead and pull her back. We're doing 24 gallons an hour. Bring her back to a nice climb setting, about 25 squared, sounds good. And we'll go ahead and get rid of these flaps. Not really sure if they really did much for me on takeoff anyways, but if you're not sure if you want to use no flap or 20 flap or what this thing's supposed to use, well, you know, using first notch, probably can't go wrong there, at least worked out okay for me. Go ahead and lean her out just a smidge here as we're climbing, 25 squared, and let's take her on up to a nice safe altitude. Field elevation here, roughly 1,000. Let's head on up to about 3,000, 3,500 feet. Give us some good buffer between us and the ground before we start getting a little crazy with this thing. In the meantime, as we're climbing, go ahead and clear our area, so a little bit coordinated right and left turns there. Make sure nobody's in front of us. And I'm just getting a feel for the stick and the rudder. I'm going to go ahead and pick out, I got a little building there. It's kind of hard to see over this nose here in the climb attitude, but got a building out there. I'm just going to go ahead and do some rolls on heading here. So right stick, right rudder, left stick, left rudder, and feel what this airplane likes as far as how much stick and how much rudder. Obviously these are a little aggressive, but this is fun. And yes, with all that power in there, it does want to go left. Cool, so the whole idea there is I'm keeping my nose directly on that point. If I just use the stick with no rudder, watch what happens to the nose. It is all over the place. Whoa, that is crazy. And you can hear it in the prop, and the wind's not hitting the airplane straight, and the ball sliding all over the place. So it's just a coordination exercise, getting used to how this airplane handles. And now that I've been talking and yapping, well, we're coming up on almost 4,000 feet, so we might as well just go up to 4,000. That'll give us about 3,000 between us and the ground to play around with this thing. Plenty of room to recover if something goes kind of weird on us. There's 4,000. Push that nose over. We'll see what kind of attitude this thing likes for level flight. Pull her back to probably about 20, 22 sounds good. 20 inches, 22, 100 RPM. And nice maneuvering speed. One of the first things I want to figure out here is what my maneuvering speed actually is. Maneuvering speed being like VA. And of course VA changes with weight. So given the weight today, I'm going to go ahead and find out what my maneuvering speed is. Be one of my first things I do here. Get this guy leaned out to what I like. About 1,400 something on the EGTs. Looks pretty good. Pull her back on the manifold pressure there a little bit. Wow. You get way better visibility on this thing too. In level flight, doing 135 miles per hour indicated here. Got awesome visibility over the nose compared to on that taxi and climb out. Definitely can get rid of that boost pump by now. Everything looks pretty good across the board here. I think the first thing I want to do is, well, we'll go ahead and do some 45-degree bank turns. Just get a feel for her at 4,000 feet here. Clear left, rolling in, over to 45 degrees, holding that nose up on the horizon there. See what this thing likes. We'll just do 180 degrees, roll it out. There's still 4,000, rolling to the right, coming back around. Didn't see any other traffic out there. Oop, drop the nose there for a sec. Come on, stay at 4,000 feet. There we are. All right, cool. Didn't see anybody else out there. I think it's about time to slow this thing up. See what happens here for stall speed. Let's try a clean stall, power off. Slowly pull that manifold pressure out. Make sure we're not shock cooling the engine there. Looking at our CHTs on our little JPI down there. Prop full forward. Rich up the mixture just a hair there. Use a little nose up trim. That trim is sensitive. Whew. We'll let ourselves climb. Use a little extra altitude here and bleed off that airspeed. Alright, there's 60. Go ahead and start easing out the power. Wow, and there's the airspeed's already down to 40. There's the stall, there's the brake. It's about 40 indicated. Try that again. Get all the power out of there and see what happens here. Set my nose a little too high there to get an accurate read on it. Nose doesn't, you know, just covering up the horizon just barely will probably be plenty. You can hear the airplane whistling a little bit. See if it gives me any buffet. There's a little buffet, there's a little shake. That's happening about 55 indicated. Okay, there's a brake. There's a brake at about 55. So I'm going to call, if that's a clean brake, you know, clean stall at 55, I'm just going to say 55 times 210 miles an hour, take 10 off for safety, 100 miles an hour. That's my VA for my weight today. So 4-time G loading. My maneuvering speed is 100 mile an hour. If I keep it under there, I should not rip the wings off if I'm doing something silly. Now let's go ahead and try a dirty stall. Let's pull in some flaps here. See what kind of, it doesn't really balloon us too bad when we're down slow at about 65. Take the power off again, put that nose just barely above the horizon there. Now we're seeing 45, 40 indicated. And there's the nod. Buffet, the whistle. There's the nod. About 45. 45 to 40 indicated really is what it's nodding off there at. Okay, cool. And I even get a little different airflow through the window here. Lets me know my angle of attack's getting high. So just picking up all those little clues to this new airplane. We're down to 3,500. Still got about 2,500 feet above the ground here to work with. We'll slowly get rid of these flaps. And actually, I'm at 60 just for the heck of it. I'm going to dump them all and see what happens. Nothing too bad. Gave up a little altitude. Definitely changed our pitch. Airplane's still flying. Just kind of curious what would happen if I did that, you know, by accident or something on short final or right after takeoff. If I dumped a whole bunch of flaps, how much I'm going to really drop like a rock. But if you're down to 60, you know, and we said our stalling speed was, you know, dirty at about, you know, 40, 45, clean about 55. I'm at 60 and I just dumped everything. We didn't drop too bad, so that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead, ease her in here. We'll do about a 3/4 power on stall. So get power into about 3/4 or so there. Trim, wow. As you add power, you definitely have to trim a little bit there. Start pulling this nose up, keep easing in power. Oh, I guess maybe we'll even do full power. Seeing 45 indicated, 40. Get a little buffet, a little shake there. I'll hold her in it, see what she does. Oh wow, she's really well behaved. Kind of falling leaf. Ooh, there it is. And I guess if you aggravate her enough, she'll try to drop on you. Yeah, pretty good there. Okay, pretty normal. Let's, while we're up here, I guess go ahead and give it a shot in some slow flight, as if we're going to be coming to land. And we'll pull the power back on us, try to get her slowed down. 80 sounds good to start putting some flaps. I'm just going to turn around here and check for some traffic. Area's still clear. Beautiful night to fly and do this. Nice and smooth to get a feel for the airplane. All right, there's 20 flap. 30 flap. Come off our power there a bit more. Definitely need some trim as you're going through the flight speeds. I mean, this thing's going from 135 mile an hour all the way down to, you know, 40. So makes sense that you need to be using a little trim there to help relieve some of that control pressure. It's a pretty big flight envelope. We're at 4,000 feet. We'll see if we can hold 4,000 feet here. Maybe like, I don't know, 45, 50 mile an hour indicated. Be a good target. We'll see here. Actually, try to cover up the sun there. Ooh, that's much better. Ooh, there's the brake. That's a little too slow. I guess I can't quite cover the sun. Let's bring in a little power. Okay, there we are. We'll hold 4,000 feet in slow flight. Get that sun out of our eyes. Holding her right at 40 mile an hour indicated. And there we go. Now we're down to 0 indicated airspeed. And oh, a little bit of a brake there. Just a little gentle nod. Lower that angle attack there. Just relax that back pressure and she starts flying again. Definitely draggy though. Needs a little power to keep 4,000 feet in there. Try a little turn here in slow flight. It goes quick when you're indicating 0 airspeed. Don't need much bank. Oh, there's another little brake. Try to add a little airspeed there. Lower that angle of attack. Lower that nose there. Doesn't keep stalling on us. Real gentle though. Real gentle little stalls. Not that you'd want to be doing it at 5 feet over the ground, but pretty benign. Try to increase the bank here and see what happens. A little turning stall. Ooh. She wants to go the other way. Let's try that again. Throwing a little left turn here. Let's say we're going to overshoot base to final. Pull our power out a bit here, and we're going to overshoot base to final, and I'm pulling her around to the left, and what happens? Oh, not much. Pretty well behaved. She's giving you a lot of signs that you're doing something very silly here, so hopefully by this point you'd relax the stick, get the airplane to fly again. Let's try that clean. Dump all our flaps here. 3,500, about 2,500 AGL. Try another one to the left, clear left. Little low power, kind of almost power off, but low power left turning stall. Pulling her around. That is so funny. Wow. That, it rolls out on you. That's, Bob Barrows has this thing where he talks about how he tried to design the boost stall out of the airplane, so you cannot boost stall this airplane, meaning you can't stall it when you're in a turn pulling too tight, because it actually feels like the stick and everything fights you. If you stall it, turn it to the left, it rolls back to the right. Try one of those to the right. Adding all that power, we need to get a little trim out of there. Get her back up to 3,500 here, sounds like a plan. Alright, clear on the right. Take some power out there. Try this clean, a nice right accelerated stall. Right turning, accelerated stall. Hold that nose up. Nice and coordinated. Bringing her around. Oh, she's buffeting. Ooh, and there she goes. She wants to go the other way. When it brakes on you, it kind of gives you the buffet. It gives you a decent brake to really warn you, and then it brakes and it rolls the wings back level on you. And by that time, hopefully you can go, hey, genius, relax the stick and let that airplane fly. It's pretty cool, though. All right. Well, we got our turning stalls in. We got power on, power off. We got some slow flight. Let's see what this thing is going to set up for landing. So if I just go ahead and configure here, I don't know, 11 inches, proximal forward, 80 indicated. Go ahead and pull in some flaps. 75 indicated, get her 70, 30 flap, 40 flap, get her some trim in there. The wing, I'm looking out at the wing here, it's about level with the horizon, maybe a degree or two of positive angle of attack relative to the horizon. And that's power on to 12 inches, coming down at only about 100 feet a minute. So let's see if I go to 10 inches what happens here, and that's 60 indicated. Find out where the stall is here at 10 inches. I know we already did a power off dirty stall, but let's do another one. Just make sure we know our numbers here. Yeah, we see 45, still flying. 40, still, yeah, there it is, there's the nod. Let's see what we get here. If we're gonna come in at about 65, sounds pretty good. If it's really nodding, you know, around 40, 45, 65 to 70 sounds safe. So that gives me, yeah, the wing pretty much level relative to the horizon. 10 inches of manifold pressure, 500 foot a minute descent. This is sweet. Nice and stable. That's cool. I think that's what we're going to use when we want to come in and land this thing. All right. What else do I want to do while I'm out here before I head back in towards the airport? I guess the next thing to do really is, I mean, what I really want to be doing. Let's try a little speed test here. So let's get this thing up to, what's a good cruise speed? I would say, I don't know, 20. Let's do 22 inches manifold pressure, 2,300 RPM. We'll do it at 2,500 feet here. Trying to find which way the wind's coming from out here. If we got any smoke, so we can just do a two-way speed test. What we'll do is we'll get her stabilized here, and we'll just kind of search with our heading, making a left and right turn, try to find what's fast. You know, what's our fastest? Because I think we got a good tailwind right now, and then we'll try it the other direction. So 22 inches manifold pressure, 2,300 RPM. Dial her back to about 13 gallons an hour. We're looking at about 1,400 on the EGTs. That sounds pretty good. Climbing just a little here, so trying to let her back down. We're showing about 140 mile an hour indicated. Just over 140 mile an hour indicated here. I'm showing 133 knots on the ground. Let's try and come in just a little to the right. See if we pick up any speed. 135, 136, 37, 38, 37, 38, 39. Somewhere around here is the max tailwind. 38, 39, 140. Yeah, showing just over 140 mile an hour indicated, 141 knots on the ground. Come a little more to the right and try that. 142. Showing about a 330 heading. Heading 142, 141. All right, so 330, 340, about 141 knots, I'll call it 142. And let's bring her around here and do it the other direction. Gonna lose a little speed in this turn here, but about 150, 160 we're gonna try. 2,500 feet. Now we're going into the wind. We'll get her back to 140 mile an hour indicated like we were seeing before. We're back down to 2,500 feet here. Now we're just kind of searching for our slowest speed with a little left and right turn. What are we seeing? 103 knots. We're seeing 103 is our slowest. Let's come a little right, see if it slows down a little bit or if it speeds up. 103, 104. So we'll call it 103, 142, 13 or 12 and a half gallons an hour. That's not bad. That's pretty good. I'll take that. 101 knots here, 102. We climbed a little bit. So yeah, I'd say about 127 knot airplane, 12 and a half gallon an hour. Count on that. So sweet. Let's go ahead and take this thing back on in. I'm ready to go ahead and give it a shot down the runway and see what we can do with this. I think one of the tricks to this airplane is going to be trying to get it to slow the heck down. It does not, oh, it likes to go fast. Not as draggy as it looks. Cool, we're going to go ahead and throttle it back to 15 inches here. Try that. We're at 2,500 feet. Field elevation's about 1,100. Got the field in sight. Looks like we'll join a left downwind for runway 11 on the 45, and we're going to be a little high and a little fast. Okay, bring this guy on back to 12 inches. Try to get this airplane to slow down. Use a little trim there, and just make sure we're not cooling that engine down too quickly. Jog County traffic, red Bearhawk, left downwind runway 11, Jog County. Probably a little bit bigger pattern here to give ourselves some time to get this thing slowed down and configured so we're not rushing ourselves and doing anything silly. Now, first off, I think I'm going to go ahead and try some 3-points on here. 3-point landings sound, more forgiving. I think I'm, based on what I was seeing when I was taxiing, I'm not going to have great forward visibility. But I've heard that these things 3-point really well, and that's typically a pretty easy thing to do, especially with lighter winds like this.
600 Foxtrot is turning crosswind runway 7 from Evo.
All right, gonna go ahead and bring her on back here. Time to set that prop full forward, push that mixture in, get our boost pump on, get some flaps in there, get this thing set up to land. Get her down to 80. There's 20 flap. A little more trim, help relieve some of that control pressure. And I think I'd rather drag it in with power here than wind up high and fast. So I'm going to pull some flaps in early until I get really used to this thing and how it comes down. We're at 70 mile an hour indicated airspeed.
Beaver traffic says the 676 Foxtrot is turning downwind runway 7 from Evo.
Jog County traffic, red Bearhawk, left base runway 11, Jog County. Now, the one thing I did notice is when I'm shoving in power, like right here, I'm kind of fighting the stick forward. If I take the power out, it's trimmed real well. If I add power in, that's kind of what I'm worried about, right? That nose is going way up on us. So, something to think about. I don't think that's necessary. I mean, that's a little bit the flaps, but I think a lot of that's the trim. So if we have to go around, I think I'm not going to be shoving in full power. I'm going to be easing in some power, and then I'm probably going to be messing with that trim as soon as I can, but fly the airplane first and fly it two-handed if you have to. But I think full power, slamming in full power on a go-around might be a bad idea with all that nose-up trim. Wow, this is slow out here with this headwind. 44 knots over the ground. We're showing 70 mile an hour indicated, maybe 68 indicated. I think I'm going to target about 65 to 70 on final, just to get a feel for this thing. And my goal here is I'm not trying to do it short. I'm actually going to carry in some power, carry this thing down to the ground with power on and just slowly reduce power and slowly ease the nose up. Final's clear. Geauga County traffic. We're at Bearhawk, left base to final, runway 11, Geauga County. And what happens when I'm trying to talk and do too many things at the same time?
For me with traffic, Cessna 676 on Foxtrot, turning base, runway 7, for Revo.
Alright, so got the runway in sight there. We definitely got a little right crosswind going on. 65 to 70s on final is good. A little bit of power on, and this is how I'm doing this thing, right? I got a nice level attitude. My wing is level with the horizon just like it was when I was practicing out there. I'm going to carry this attitude all the way down towards the runway. I'm going to use a bit of runway, so it's good that this thing's long. I'm going to get her straightened out here on about a quarter to a half mile final too, so I can get used to that crosswind correction. Probably start bringing in a little left rudder now, a little right stick. Doesn't take much, just a little bit to straighten her out. And I want this to be power on. I want it to be a nice, smooth, stable approach. And I'll slowly, once I get down to ground effect, the last 5 feet or so, slowly be reducing that power, easing that stick back, slowly working my nose up towards the horizon. I'm going to work that nose right back to where it was on taxi. I'm going to work that nose to well above the horizon and try to touch down, all 3 at the same time, or maybe even tailwheel first. Tailwheel first will make this airplane stop flying, right away. And when I put the mains on the ground, or when the mains fall on the ground, rather. Looking pretty good here. About 65 indicated. Lower that nose. Put a little energy back in the airplane. Not going to mess with my power. Just lower the nose. Put a little energy back in there. Feeling good here. Going to work out a little power now. Slowly reducing power. Starting to work that nose up. I can see my shadow there. Working the nose up. Working out the power. The airplane's not coming down anymore. It'll start here in a sec. There, it's coming down. Boom, I'm on. Cool. That was actually really not that bad. That was really not that bad at all. Pretty forgiving with power on there. I wonder, of course it's going to be a little more abrupt if I was doing it power off, but yeah, that's power on. And I kind of got hung up there. I could tell, just in my peripherals, it helped having the shadow there landing with the sun on my back. But with my peripherals too, I could just tell the airplane kind of got stuck there. And I was like, well, just don't touch anything. Freeze the attitude, freeze the power, just wait. You're probably going to burn some energy here. You're probably in a high drag state. Probably going to get slow and come down the last little bit. It wasn't ballooning up. If it was ballooning up, I would have done something with pitch or something with power. Probably something with power. But it just kind of froze there. And then, yeah, it got, maybe a knot or two slower, and it settled down the rest of the way. Touched tail first and dumped the mains on pretty soft. Wing quit flying, and that was pretty nice. I like that. That was gentle. All right, let's go ahead and see if we can duplicate that. And then I'm going to feel pretty good for tonight, ready to call it a night, and maybe go learn some more about this airplane tomorrow. More than enough runway ahead of us here. Get her spun around. Normally, I like to use the entire bit of runway, but this thing's got tons of power, and I don't see over the nose here very well, even though I'm sitting on this big cushion. So I don't want to get too close to those lights and put a ding in my prop. All right, we're all set here. Master, mixture, mags, prop, pressure, and pitch is all set. We are good to go. Geauga County traffic, Red Bearhawk departing runway 11, staying the pattern in Geauga County. And going to start with that stick neutral this time. I'm feeling pretty good. I'm going to do no flap and see how that works for me. Stick neutral a little to the right for that crosswind. Looking down that center line as much as I can. And actually, wait, what the heck am I doing here? Come on. Let's have a little fun. Each of these lights is about 200 feet. Let's see what we can do here. Probably not the best thing to do on the second takeoff, but, this is fun. Using some power, holding those brakes, holding that tail back a little bit. And a little right rudder, push that tail up. Come on, let's go. There's 200 feet, 250, 300. We're off. We're climbing. That's sweet. Climbing out about 85 miles an hour. What are we doing here? We're doing about, 1,500, 1,700 feet a minute. That was with no flap. I'm happy with that. That is sweet. Throttle on back there. Gonna bust through pattern altitude before we know it. Bring this thing on back to 20 inches. Boost pump off. And clear left. Geauga County traffic, Red Bearhawk, left crosswind, runway 11, Geauga County. Probably shouldn't be doing anything too silly right now. Give myself a little more room than that. 15 inches of manifold pressure, and we're at, props full forward already, 2300 RPM, doing 110 on downwind. Let's get this thing slowed down, wow. 15 inches manifold pressure, doesn't want to slow down. Boost pumps on, power's coming back. Bring it all the way back to 10 inches here. Otherwise we'll be flying the space shuttle pattern again. 90 mile an hour indicated, sounds good for 10th lap. We're down to 80. That's good there. Raise that nose, put it right on the horizon there. That should give us a good 70 here in a second. There's 70, 30, 40 flap. Swipe a trim, nose up. Bring this thing back 10 inches again, crept up on us a little bit. All good. Jog County traffic, red Bearhawk, left base, runway 11, Jog County. All right, 65 mile an hour, indicated. Let's see what we can do here on this one. So that was a really nice, smooth, stable approach. This one I'm going to take the power out a little quicker. I'm going to see if I can put the airplane down a little quicker. Not something you want to be doing like, I don't know, we'll do this carefully. I'm ready to go around if I have to. I know that if I'm going to go around, it's going to be a partial power application at first. Not going to break the airplane, not doing anything too dumb with a new airplane, but it's a fairly calm night. Time to have some fun. We'll see how if we can make our first turn off there. Jog County traffic, red Bearhawk, left base to final for runway 11, Jog County. And final's clear. What a beautiful sunset. Maintaining 65, just setting that nose. I need to watch that nose better. Letting the nose kind of walk up and down on me, and that's changed my airspeed a little bit. Cool, we're nice and stable here, power on. Gonna get a little slower on this one and see how that works for us. Feeling pretty confident I can fly this thing at 60 to 65 safely with no wind gusts. And some power on there, of course, too. Wings a little higher. Kind of killing my visibility coming in at 60. Coming in at 65 is definitely better viz. Alright, clear of our obstacles. There's our runway. Working out the power. Working up the pitch. And yeah, no problem. Not a problem at all. There we are. We're right back to our parking spot. That is sweet. Oh, it is so sweet to go 140 mile an hour. 145 even. And then land, what was that? About 600 feet from the threshold-ish? That's fun. So, alright. That is me trying to get used to this airplane. Don't pick up any of my bad habits. There's probably a lot of bad habits in there. You probably shouldn't do anything I just showed you. But that's how I do it. So, take it for what it's worth. Don't do what I'm doing. Go find a flight instructor that actually knows the airplane that you're new to. I just don't happen to have a flight instructor around here that's handy that has any Bearhawk experience. So, I basically did my best to research on Google, talk to some folks, and then went and figured it out on my own. Not recommended, but hey, a lot of fun. So you guys will be you'll be seeing this airplane quite a bit more as we bring it out to High Sierra, all out west. This thing is sweet. This is a 145 mile an hour bush plane with a lot of room back there, a whole lot of room, and it's gonna be me, Steph, and 2 dogs, and yeah, it's going to be a full load. A lot of camping gear, but a whole lot of fun.